That's still a pretty shitty thumbnail.
Anyways, here we have the motor. This is the car itself. I don't know if you could call this a donor. Because the engine's going in here, so that's gonna be like, this isn't donating anything. This is the engine. This is the car that the engine is going into. So, last video I replaced the timing belt and water pump. I also put on my distributor, and I mentioned that I had to, I was gonna go ahead and replace the valve cover gasket and all the little grommets and whatnot. So that's what I'm gonna be doing today. Is there anything else I'm forgetting? No, I don't think there is. This is gonna be my first time putting a clutch on a car. Luckily, the engine's already outside the car, so that makes everything so much easier. I'm gonna try and explain as best as I can like usual, but like I said, I've never done this before. And because I've never done it before, I might not be doing everything 100% correct on camera, but I'll try and correct any errors or something I make off camera. So I'm not gonna tell you to use this video as like a guide, but if you want to, you can. So, before I had even started this whole install, uninstall crap, I realized that I didn't even have the right socket, so I had to make a quick trip to the local AutoZone, and now we're back and we're ready to start. So, with this engine, these come out of CRVs, and those have automatic transmissions, so you have this like flex plate thingy. So, I'm pretty sure all Honda, or at least all B series flywheel bolts are the same. It's a 17 mil, but it's a 12-point socket. So like a regular 6-point or 6 bolt, whatever you want to call it, won't work. So I had to run and get one of those. To take these off, I'm just gonna impact them off. But once you install the new bolts with the new flywheel and whatnot, you want to make sure that you torque these down to spec. I also bought a new rear main seal. This one doesn't look like too bad, but like as you can see down there, it seems like a little might have been leaking out. So it's better to be safe than sorry. This car, like I said, this car is gonna be a daily, and I'd like it to be as reliable as possible, and this job isn't gonna get any easier. So I might as well just do it while the engine is still out of the car. The clutch I ended up going with was a competition. I was about to go with an XTD clutch, like an eBay brand, but I kept reading so many horror stories about them, I didn't really want to risk it at all. So I sent that back and got something from like a reputable company. It's just their like stock OEM replacement clutch. Is not anything fancy, but I'm not really adding any power to this engine anytime soon, and I don't plan on making any big power. So this should hold up fine, and I'm going to show you how to install it. For the flywheel, I just went with a stock Integra flywheel off of Rock Auto. I think these are like 18 pounds. I would have loved to go with a lightweight option, but money. So this will get the job done though. And if I really want to change it up in the future, I can. So the first thing you want to do before you put the flywheel on is put the pilot bearing in here. Now there's only one way it can really go in, because there's a little lip in there. And to get it to go in smoothly, you might have to apply a little pressure. Yeah, it's not just gonna slide in there. So what you gotta do is, I'm just using this as an example. You might wanna you need to take a socket that's the same size as the pilot bearing, and then take like a rubber mallet or something and hammer it in there. Gently though, don't force it in there. Come on. So, after you press that in, all you need is like a socket. I kind of messed up the rubber part a little bit. Hopefully it's okay. But once you get that pressed in, you want to make sure the part that the clutch touches the most of is on the outside, and you can tell it's right because you'll have this little lip. You want to be able to see this with the flywheel on. Next, you want to put the flywheel bolts in. I went with some OEM Honda flywheel bolts. There's the part number if you're interested. I got all of them. You want to put these in a crisscross pattern, and then I think you want to torque them to, I want to say 86 foot-pounds or something close to that. Flywheel is on, now it's on to the clutch. All right, so now I'm gonna be putting the clutch on. First, you wanna get, after the flywheel gets put on, you wanna grab the clutch disc. Mine is still in the wrapper, so let me take it out really quickly. And here you go. This is the, again, this is the competition, like stock OEM replacement clutch. Now, I don't know if you have to take those stickers off. I'm gonna take them off just to be safe. If I'm not mistaken, the flat side is the side that goes onto the flywheel. I could be wrong though, so let me double check that. Yeah, so I was correct. The flat side of it. So that would be, this is the flat side, this is the bulging side. This side is going up against the flywheel, and this will touch the pressure plate. What you want to do is you take your alignment tool, wiggle through there, and then just kind of jam it in there like that. And here's our pressure plate, also from competition. I also heard it's a good idea to wipe this surface off with a little alcohol, so I'll do that off camera too and then get it installed. I got the clutch on. It was kind of a bitch because you have to line up these three these like studs on the flywheel, and like I had the most trouble with them. That one's still not fully in, but I'm thinking once I torque all of these bolts down, it'll just pop through. I'm using ARP pressure plate bolts for you know, Honda motors. They came with these little washers on them. I'm gonna put them on for now for the sake of the video, but I'm not sure if I'll actually need them. I'll also come back and add some Loctite to the to these bolts on the pressure plate, just to be safe when I come back and put my transmission on. Wow, that did not focus at all. There we go. And that's not what I was expecting to happen. But that should be tightened down good enough. I'm gonna go over it with the torque wrench, whatever you want to call it. They're supposed to be set to 19 foot-pounds, and you're supposed to tighten them in a star pattern. I'll do that off camera. I also meant to add some Loctite to those bolts, but I didn't have them with me. And for the sake of the video, I just wanted to get everything installed anyways. When I come back to put my transmission on, I'll go back over that off camera and put everything back on how it's supposed to be. And I just dropped my wrench. But I don't know if I mentioned it earlier while I was filming, because like I said, I spent like an hour trying to get these studs on the clutch because it was giving me such a problem. But before you did all of that, when you put the clutch plate in, you put this alignment tool in with it to make sure that everything was straight how it's supposed to be. You pretty much just made sure that wiggled in place. And then once you got everything bolted down how it's supposed to be, you just yanked it right out. The clutch alignment tool. But that's how you install a clutch on a B series motor, you know, after it's out of the car. It's very easy. It just took me forever because this is my first time, and I couldn't figure out the stud thing on the clutch pressure plate. But yeah. Thank you all for watching, and I'll try and have this video out in a couple of days. Today is Sunday. I'll try and have it out by the time I come back out here to work on this motor again. So before Wednesday. Thank you.